Welcome to one of my tips and tricks video. There are no tricks here. Today, we're going to be talking about that one thing that you rarely get a look into or a conversation about, but the first time that you show a property to your buyer. It's the first time you connect with them, the first time you see them, the first time you're going to have a meeting with them. I know there are some people that don't show properties until they meet them at the office, but we're experiencing a different social distance or a new set of rules with the way we show properties. So I like to set up an appointment if I'm working with a buyer at a vacant property first. That could include new construction, but I would prefer a totally vacant property. When you're showing a vacant property, there's no seller to worry about. There's no seller's agent usually there to worry about either. And you get to meet with your customer and continue your discovery process. If you don't know what discovery process is, it'll be coming up in more of my videos, but if you listen to my previous videos, I'm sure that you'll get it in there. So I get to ask more questions, and you also have an opportunity for the buyer to look and say, hey, you know, that kitchen is too small, the bedroom is too small. Because a lot of times, even if somebody quotes square footage on a property on what they're looking for, they might not be able to really see or get the feel of the square footage that they're discussing. So I've seen people that have walked into a home that's 1,400 square feet and it's been laid out with an open design and the rooms have a good size and they get excited about it. And they've walked into homes that are 1,800 square feet and said, wow, this is really not a good fit for me. So layout has a lot to do with it, not just square footage. And sometimes you need to show a customer that before they get the whole gist of it. Most people that I encounter don't really have the idea yet, unless they've already been shopping, which is another thing that you need to know. When somebody says, I'm looking for this specific square footage, they've probably been looking for properties for a while already. So now we move on. We're going to go see a property that has a listing agent and has a seller on premises. Who is the most important person at one of these meetings? It's the buyer. I know the seller is very important too, but the buyer is coming to your property. Now we pull out all the stops and set up the home so they can see it comfortably. That's why we keep it clean. That's why we keep it smelling fresh. Bacon is not a fresh smell for a home, even though a lot of people like that when they walk in. Buyer gets to the property, and step one, let's ask the buyer how they want to view the property. Would you like to walk through the home and ask questions if you choose, or would you like to have the home shown to you? This is something that I talked to with the listing agent. This Saturday, I was showing property, and the listing agent insisted, without talking to us first, to start discussing the neighborhood and property taxes and the schools. And you know what? I'm an agent, and we brought them there. I was working with another agent. In life, you have to qualify people, and by that, I'm not talking about financing. We'll get into that too in another video, but you have to qualify them. And if you're talking to a person who's already been speaking to an agent, you have to assume that they got to that neighborhood and that home because they already spoke to the buyer and asked them what they were looking for as far as neighborhoods go and as far as schools go. So leave that to the buyer's agent. Don't assume that that's your responsibility. Your responsibility is to facilitate my showing of the home. So when I get there, usually I respect the listing agent by saying, hey, would you show us the home? But usually right when I walk in front of the listing agent, I'll turn to the buyer and ask them, would you like to view the home first, ask questions later, or would you like the property shown to you? Buyers like to walk through the home, get a feel for it. Usually right off the bat, when a buyer walks into a home, they have pretty much made a decision in one direction or another. A lot of times they walk in, and I'm one to believe that homes do have a positive and negative vibe. So let the buyer walk in, look around. Maybe the appointment's over quickly. And yeah, that's a shame. The buyer's not interested in your home. but it's better for everybody involved if the buyer can walk in, look around, say, you know what, nice house, not interested, and go on. If you stop them like this listing agent did on Saturday, and you start telling them about the taxes, the schools, and so on, it might not matter. They might have already walked in and seen something in the home's design that they don't like. So listing agent, be practical, be respectful, ask the buyer's agent what it is that they want to do. Don't just impose yourself. We're not there to see how good you are or how knowledgeable you are. We're there because we've already come to the decision that that property is a good match for the buyer. If you're a listing agent, that's your tip from here. If you're the seller of the home, that's a tip for you too, because there are sellers that insist on staying in the home, which is fine, but they don't want to be a fly on the wall. They want to follow around and tell everybody about everything. So, you know, you walk into one of the bedrooms and the seller says, hey, you see those knobs on that closet door? We bought those. Those aren't the ones that come with it. Those were $6 a piece or $20 a piece or $50 a piece, and those are staying or they're not staying. You know what? Sit back, let your listing agent do the work. Again, these things should not happen. They should be discussed prior to going to see properties. So that's it for now. Hope you like the backdrop. Give me some feedback, whether it's positive or not, because I'm going to keep doing this and it's not always going to be fish.